Good morning and welcome to GM Tips. This is GM Rick here. I hope you're doing good. You can see a little bit of my fantasy background with the red dragon and the wizard, the steampunk angel, and then Jack Skellington and Olaf. Love my gaming area. As you can see, I've got a little bit up here when it comes to the gaming bookshelf, and then my other gaming bookshelf. So, as I move you around, I love my GMing area, plus it's my work area. So today's GM Tips is going to be a more sobering topic. A topic I think needs addressed, and a topic that I think as GMs and as players, we have a long way to grow in. Some of us have got it, some of us don't. And it's the topic of gender, race, and gender orientation. Gaming, when it was designed, was always meant to be an open environment, open to beliefs, open to different values, open to thinking and orientation. Now, I don't think Gary Gygax envisioned it to be this environment that became a battleground for race, for gender, for race, or for anything else. I think he just wanted it to be a place that people could come, have fun, adventure, be themselves, and enjoy the game. Yeah, he had a kind of a playfully sadistic side where he would mess with players as a DM. That said, I don't think, and you could talk to Luke and the rest of the kids and see, and Gary Gygax Jr. to see if that was the case. When I met the guy, he just seemed like a nice human being. That said, I want to address, I think, 5 things as a GM and as players too, so this goes to both, that we need to keep in mind and really introduce in when we are running a system or running a game. Number 1, the topic of should gender and gender roles be allowed in gaming? Want my simple answer? Yes. Yes. As a GM, you should allow all sexuality and religions and beliefs into the game. Okay? Gaming is that. It's a microcosm of a world. In the case of Paizo's world, and I think the same with Wizards, different worlds, gender was not an issue. Okay? There was same-sex, there was polyamorous, there was bisexual, there are different orientations, there's heterosexual. And all of them are welcome, and none of them are put down in the world cultures that I've seen. I've seen no writing in Faerun and in any other thing. And I can tell you in the modern systems, heck, like the ones with Monty Cook and Shanna with Numenera and Savage Worlds and some of the others, I don't think there was a lot of discrimination. Unless you're going to play Old Earth, it isn't there, okay? So as a GM, yes, you should allow it. Now, I say that with a caveat to the player and to the GM. Don't jam it down your people who don't agree with you's throats to the point to where you really make it a battleground that, yes, you should accept me. Look, guys, we should be accepting of each other. If a person wants to play a whatever polyamorous player character that hits on both men, women, and anything else, then let them as a GM. Okay? It's part of the fun of gaming. I've got a guy in there that plays this Fey sorcerer that's kind of a lech that hits on every female he sees. I allow that. Why should I not allow the other? Okay? Now, I'll say this with some things. A couple things you got to keep in mind. And this goes to my second tip. When running these things, be mindful of the little ears around you. Unless your kids are just open-minded to you swearing and cursing and you teaching them all kinds of words and concepts, please have a little decorum with people's kids. I don't like the guys swearing around my kids. My older kids, yes, they're fine. They're teenagers. They've heard enough swearing as a sailor. It's not going to bother them. The 4-year-old, mini GM, I don't like it. Because mini GM doesn't need to learn this any faster, and she has to learn it, okay? I know kids learn today, and our environment's very different, and kids are learning concepts they shouldn't be learning at 8 and 9 years old. But you know what? It is what it is. You deal with it as it goes. But in a gaming environment, please respect the GMs or the players' rules if you're playing at their place with their kids. It's a common courtesy. It's not even about a battle of, oh, you don't want me to be this way. It's simple common courtesy. Have a little common courtesy when you're there. They're inviting you into their home. They're bringing you in to be a part of it. Please, 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 please have some respect for them. Don't make them have to correct you 60 times. That's not fair either. Okay? So the two go to kind of together. Number 3, should there be race limitations, or should you have I'm going to include only people I feel comfortable with racially? Horse crap. The greatest thing for me as a kid was playing with my friend Chester, my friend Eric, and some of my other friends. I had multi-diversity with race and people and everything, and I loved it. For me, it was a great time. I welcome into my systems people of all religions, backgrounds, countries, and sexualities. Why? Because I want them to have the same love for gaming that I have. I want them to feel safe being who they are. I invited a good friend of mine online. Now, he's all about black history, black this, black that, black everything, because he wants empowered. And I understand that. I do in a way. He wants to feel good about who he is. He's tired of being told, because of the color of my skin, I'm going to be put down. He's welcome, and I invited him. Why? Because I want him to come. I know he loves gaming. I want him to come and enjoy it. Now, at the same time, I don't want him every 5 minutes touting up stuff, because I think you got to have some respect and decorum there too. But we got to be able to do that. I mean, would I feel weird with people that are feminists? Heck no. My oldest sister is not. My youngest sister, which is older than me, my 2 olders, is very feminist. So I grew up in a feminist environment, okay? I'm okay with it. But, at the same time I say, don't jam it down your players' throats if you're playing with them, your fellow players, because you'll alienate yourself with some of the causes that we bring into gaming that we should never bring in, okay? We should be accepting of causes, but I'm not saying we should sit there and trumpet our cause in a game. A game is meant to be fun. It's meant to allow you to enjoy different things that you want to enjoy within reason. For instance, if you want to play a slaver from down in Katapesh, be my guest. If you want to play an Asmodean from the Chelish Empire, fine. If you want to play a pure legionnaire from Rahadum, and again, I'm using ones in my world that I'm playing with the Inner Sea. Dungeons & Dragons players, you can pick your own ones, or Shadowrun people, you can pick your own, or whatever the system may be. Cipher system, pick your own. But at the same time, don't limit your players. Let them enjoy being there. But at the same time, don't bring racism into the system. Don't allow it. Don't stand for it. If somebody makes a slur comment at my table, I look at them like they have 3 heads. I'm like, really? You're really going to bring that in here? So be very careful in these things. Allow the worlds to reflect it, and use a GM to play polyamorous, bisexual, same sex. It's okay. I get into the voices without trying to insult them, and I have fun playing some of these characters, or NPCs, as a GM. It broadens my skills, and that's all you're doing. You're not saying, look, if you're Christian, and that is my orientation, by the way, folks, and I don't tout it much. You'll never hear me say it, because I don't want to jam it on people. Don't feel offended by this. You're not violating your God-given things. You just aren't. And so don't feel weird about it. Just enjoy it and play it. It's a game, okay? And a game is a game. And last but not least, be an arbiter for your people, that you don't allow the negativity to come in. You be the gatekeeper. You teach your players how to do different things. You teach your players what they want. And so, I want to end this kind of on a good note. And I want to do it with my friend growing up. Great man. And I'm just going to tell you right now, in life, even though he and I don't live next to each other, he is a man I look up to and respect tremendously for all he's been through and for just his heart in general. I knew growing up something was different about him. He didn't say it, but I knew. And sadly, I had my own issues I was dealing with as a kid that, my own anger issues and other things in life that he and I grew apart at that time. And I'm sorry. And I'll say that right here. And he knows I've apologized to him immensely about it. I didn't care he had the differences and that he played his characters a certain way. I enjoyed that he loved playing D&D with me and with the rest of us. Today, I think he would be a tremendous player in any campaign. He finally got to marry his man that he loved not even a year ago. And I'm so proud of him. And I'm sorry it brings tears to my eyes, guys, but I saw the hatred put to this man. And I've heard him tell his story to me. And I'm sorry. Hatred to me does not justify love. You cannot say that you're accepting and that you have a accepting place when you make a person feel this tall. Don't do that. Don't. This man could enrich a campaign so much. I believe he could bring so much good and so much love, and yet all he's been through, he's not bitter. He's not hateful. He doesn't put down religion or race or sexuality. He doesn't run around touting his own sexuality. He just enjoys life. And I wish more people would be like him, because I think the world would be just a tremendously good place if it was. I think we've got so much going on in our lives. Don't bring the hate. Don't bring the anger. Don't bring the vitriol. Don't bring the causes into gaming. Please don't. You hurt so many people when you do that. You push so many people away. And as GMs, it is our given right as a GM to bring people in and make it a wonderful experience. Please do not use your gaming environment to breed hate and vitriol and venom and anti-stuff, because I'm telling you, you're ruining the whole experience for yourself and others. Learn to open this and expand this. Learn to open this, over here, and expand your heart. You will not regret it. We had a person come into our gaming group not long ago. It was a transgender person. And I knew. I could tell. And I think she felt self-conscious as a transgender. And I'm sorry that she did, because I really and truly wish she would have stayed. I think our group would have embraced her with open arms. We did. And she came and unfortunately, was in the middle of things, so working her character in was a little more difficult. I think she felt like we didn't want her. And that's not true. And if you ever see this video, please know we wanted you to be there. And we had no problem with you being transgender. In fact, if anything, I was proud of you being out there, being who you are. And it hurt my heart that she couldn't stay with us for whatever reasons in her heart. And I don't ever want that for a player. Hey, you know what? If you want to come join my campaign and you are same-sex or you are bisexual, trisexual, omnisexual, polysexual, whatever, you are welcome in my campaign. You are welcome in my doors. You are welcome in my home. I will not make you feel, nor will I allow the players in our group to make you feel like you are not welcome. Our environment is one of inclusion. Our environment is one of a great experience. And I want you to not feel sometimes the pain you feel in the world in our group. And I hope more GMs rise up and take that attitude, and more DMs and more other masters make it a place where, you know what, we can just put aside all the other bullcrap day to day and enjoy the game. I'm sorry this has been a little emotional for me because it is. I'm emotionally invested as a GM to this, and this will be the most invested topic I'll put up for you. For those that I've offended, I'm sorry, but you know what? The truth is the truth. And whether we want to accept it or not, we are supposed to be ambassadors to our systems. Let's be ambassadors that welcome with open arms people in. And those that come in, please have the dignity and respect of those game mastering for you, that you don't make their life hard either. Try to understand we go so much putting time into making these adventures so special for you and so wonderful. Sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they're frustrating, sometimes they aren't. But we're doing our best to make this a place that you feel welcome at all times, and that you feel like, I want to do this all the time. I love it. I love what I do. So with that said, go forth, have a great week. Please have lots of positivity in your life, and please don't hurt people by your views, okay? I'm not saying we need to accept every piece of garbage that goes on in the world, but we as GMs should make that experience a different place that people really love. With that, GM Rick out. Have a great week.